is CTV News. I'm Taylor Thomas. Abortion rights taking center stage in Annapolis. Governor Wes Moore, Lieutenant Governor Aruna Miller, and other leaders announced their support for 4 bills aimed at protecting abortion rights in Maryland. One would create a state constitutional amendment that would enshrine abortion access. Another would protect out-of-state patients and providers from civil and criminal penalties related to abortion. 2 other bills also deal with access and privacy issues.
The importance of today and the importance of all of these leaders is this. We're going to make sure that Maryland is a safe haven for abortion rights long after I'm governor of this state. That's the importance of today.
It's great to have a friend on the second floor. He is solidly pro-choice, and these are the initiatives that we're seeing pass in the pro-choice states across the country.
If the bill creating a constitutional amendment passes, the matter would go before voters in 2024. Republican lawmakers have released their wish list for the current session. Among the bills is number 216. It would repeal the state's automatic gas tax hike, which is tied to inflation. Last July, for example, it jumped more than 19 cents to 43 cents per gallon. Sponsor Jason Gallion says it's a matter of transparency and accountability.
I just feel like it's kind of was a sneaky way to put a tax increase in every year, and I want to remove that so that our legislators can vote up or down every year. We want to make folks go on the record if they want to raise taxes on our citizens.
Other legislative priorities for Republicans: a bill to eliminate all income taxes for Maryland retirees and a measure that would make theft of a handgun a felony rather than a misdemeanor. Yesterday, we told you about new legislation that will require stats on cleanup state roads. The bill's sponsor, Delegate Nick Charles, recently received some data from MDOT. He says the records seem to indicate an unequal distribution of cleanup funds, and he's concerned that it could signify some racial inequities.
Upper Marlboro Shop is probably the largest African-American community in the MDOT space for District 3. And when you look at how many lane miles we have and the total amount of dollars that have not been sent to that shop to cover all of those lane miles, it's horrendous. But I had the opportunity to speak to the incoming secretary, and he's promised me that we're going to get to the bottom of this and we're going to make sure that this isn't happening anymore. And so I'm looking forward to working with Governor Moore's administration and his new Secretary for Transportation to address this issue, because at the end of the day, equity is at the forefront of this discussion.
The measure HB 252 is scheduled for a hearing this afternoon in the House Environment and Transportation Committee. The state health department is reporting 748 new COVID-19 cases. The positivity rate currently stands at 9.58%. In the last 24 hours, 6 Marylanders have died from the virus, and 493 residents are in the hospital with COVID-19. You're watching CTV News. I'm Taylor Thomas. Back in a moment.
Hypertension, diabetes, and heart disease.
Black patients are twice as likely to die of COVID-19
because of underlying conditions.
And the most affected are Black women.
Black women. Black women. Black women.
Now there are vaccines.
But 41% of us say they want to wait and see. Our health and those we love can't wait. We need to protect ourselves and our families now.
Now. Get more information.
Because our health is worth a shot.
Go to cdc.gov.
Good evening and welcome back. Prince George's County Public Schools are dealing with yet another teen overdose. A 14-year-old overdosed at Gwynn Park High School in Brandywine yesterday morning. The student was revived through the life-saving drug Narcan. The teen was hospitalized after the incident. Health officials say 216 schools have nurses that have gone through Narcan training since November of last year. There have been nearly 30 student drug overdoses at county schools this academic year. Well, we now know the name of the motorcyclist who died in the fiery crash involving a school bus. The victim has been identified as 25-year-old Donovan Smith. Police say the crash happened yesterday afternoon on Brandywine Road in Brandywine. Smith reportedly lost control of his motorcycle and struck the school bus head-on. He was pronounced dead on the scene. The school bus driver and 3 students on board were not injured. Well, if you take Metro, listen up. Riders can soon expect to see a bigger police presence at some stations. Beginning next week, Metro Transit Police will partner with DC Police to provide more security at 5 stations. These stations include Metro Center, Gallery Place, Georgia Avenue, Petworth, Congress Heights, and Union Station. Officials say riders should also expect to see more officers riding trains and buses.
It's going to allow Transit Police under Chief Anzalo's leadership to have more officers directly on trains and buses. So while we're at a lot of platforms, we have 1,600 buses, hundreds of rail cars throughout the day. It's basically impossible to have an officer, as everyone knows, on every bus, every train, every station platform. This will give us extra visible presence by our partner so we can actually get even closer to our customers where they need to see us.
Officials say the partnership between the 2 agencies will run through June. How many women go missing in Maryland? The federal government compiles statistics on missing persons, but one Maryland lawmaker wants the state to set up its own database. Delegate Annie Healy says the database is needed to see if there are any patterns to those disappearances.
This isn't going to be about tracking individual cases, though. It's about tracking the demographics of who's missing, how many, where, what part of the state, all of that data in one place so people can find it easily. So advocates and families and all the people who want to create policy to stop this from happening can see that it is a serious problem and needs to be addressed.
Healy's measure has not yet been assigned a bill number. 3 people expressed interest in the county's open District 22 House of Delegates seat, but only one actually applied. 26-year-old Ashanti Martinez made the Tuesday filing deadline, making him the likely person to fill the vacancy. The vacancy was created when Democrat Alonzo Washington ascended to a Senate seat in Annapolis. Martinez, a social justice activist, is currently the chief of staff for newly elected Prince George's Council member Crystal Orietha. A local author is sharing the story of Roy Clay Sr., an African-American known as the Black Godfather of Silicon Valley. Marvin Jackson says the public needs to know about Clay's contributions that changed the world.
It's in the book. Roy Clay is an American hero. He's not just a Black American hero. He's an American hero. He was one of the first, not only Black people, but first people in California who started Silicon Valley. Before it was known as Silicon Valley, he was one of the first people that went to St. Louis, first Black people who went to St. Louis University. He was the first person to run for office and win in Palo Alto, California, which is where Silicon Valley is. He also became the first Black man to become a member of the famous Olympic Club in San Francisco.
The memoir is entitled Unstoppable, the unlikely story of a Silicon Valley godfather. Now you can find that book online and at local bookstores. A new documentary peels back the layers on the impact of school desegregation, particularly through school buses here in the county. It's called the Tower Road Bus Documentary. The film discusses how 20 Black students from Tower Road in Brandywine were bused from their neighborhood elementary school to another school back in January of 1973. That other school was Crestview, which was 5 miles away from the students' original school. The film is being screened today at Bowie State University. And still to come, Simon Buggs and the Thursday Sports Page report. Stay with us.
Hey, Simon Buggs here. And coming up shortly, I'll be talking about how the PGCTV men's basketball team and the Washington Wizards both got the dub in their games yesterday. Stay tuned.
Mental health and learning disorders don't discriminate. 17 million children and adolescents in the United States live with disorders like anxiety, depression, ADHD, and dyslexia. Less than half get the help they need to thrive. Help the Child Mind Institute change these children's lives. Visit childmind.org.
Welcome back. Yesterday, we gave you a brief glimpse of Wellspring Manor and Spa, a Black-owned bed and breakfast located in Upper Marlboro. Today, we're back with an in-depth tour guide by co-owner Lisa Brown Alexander.
Wellspring Manor and Spa is a confluence or a convergence of music, art, food, and relaxation. We came up with a concept for Wellspring Manor and Spa after traveling fairly extensively, my husband and I. Every time we wanted a nice experience, we had to go somewhere else. That was the first clue that there was an opportunity. The other was the lack of luxury experiences that reflected or centered people of color. We have 5 suites. The Serenity Suite, which is a suite designed for either the solo traveler or two people who want to kind of just unplug. It's the only suite without a television, and it's designed for people who want to just woosah. We then have the Angelou Suite, named after Maya Angelou. That's our second largest suite. It's a queen suite, accommodates up to 2 people. We have the Alexander Suite, which is our premium suite. It's a king-size canopy bed suite with a sitting room and fireplace, jacuzzi tub, separate shower. On the top floor, we have 2 suites, the Lynn Suite and the Chavez Suite. And those suites were named in honor and recognition of the Asian community and the Latino community. The art comes to us from Greenbelt to Ghana and many, many places in between. Our curator, Barry Blackman, is responsible for managing all of the art exhibits here at Wellspring. But we specifically set to create a space where Black art could be celebrated and seen. Prince George's County is a mosaic, right? We have people from all walks of life living here, but we didn't have an experience or a destination that reflected that. And so Wellspring is the response to the community that we live in, the community that we serve, and an opportunity to differentiate ourselves from the luxury market, which for the most part is fairly homogeneous.
Don't forget to head to their website for information on booking a stay and future art gallery events.
PGCTV men's basketball team added another game to their win total yesterday as they beat Baltimore City Community College 86-72. The Owls played good defense in the matchup as they recorded 7 steals and 8 blocks. Point guard Jasir Trimble had a great game, scoring 26 points while making 5 3-pointers in the process. The team is now 21-3, and head coach Terrell Harris spoke on what he thinks contributed to the team having such a great record.
The camaraderie and responding to adversity, right? If we go down in a game or we give up a big lead, the guys, they stick together and they hold each other accountable. So that's the biggest thing that I've seen thus far that's keeping us on the winning streak.
The Owls will take the court next against Community College of Baltimore County Dundalk on Friday. Moving on to the NBA, the Wizards also left the court with the win yesterday as they beat the Charlotte Hornets 118-104. This win breaks a 3-game losing streak. The Wizards are now 25-29 and will face the Indiana Pacers at home on Saturday. And to wrap up sports, the UMD women's basketball team will be in action tonight, and they will try to move to 20-5 as they go up against Northwestern tonight at 8:30. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon. All right, now to our weather forecast tonight. Cloudy with lows near 52 degrees. Tomorrow, partly sunny with highs around 59 degrees. Saturday, sunny with highs in the upper 40s. Sunday's forecast, rain likely, highs near 44 degrees. And that's our CTV News for tonight. I'm Taylor Thomas. Thanks for joining us.